This is Hank, my Volkswagen ID.7 Pro. I owned the car for over 20 months and this week it achieved on the odometer 25,000 kilometers. And I thought it's time for the people who want to decide if an ID.7 is their car to get an owner's opinion if this is the right car for them or not. If your company has electric cars as company cars, of course you want your employee to charge at home. It's cheaper for you and it's easier for the employee. Tronity has a software solution for you to know how much you have to pay your employee for charging at home. With the Fleet Manager you manage your employees and your cars. Tronity connects to the cars and knows exactly when the car is charging at home and how much. And then you get an easy monthly bill for your employee. If you want to know more, there's a link in the description below. Let's start with the size. You have to know that the car is really long, almost 5 meters, so your garage of course has to fit this car. But the good thing is, MEB platform typical, this car has a very good turning circle, especially the rear-wheel drive version. In the GTX you get a bit less, but still, so going into a parking garage or something or out of your driveway is really good. Also on the rear seats, there's so much legroom, there's enough headroom. 5 people can sit in this car, 5 grown-ups, without having any problem that the drive wouldn't be comfortable. For me personally, I don't need the space in the rear seats. Just my wife and me, and we only have our little dogs here in the back. But there are so many advantages that I love about this car that we get to later that it's still okay. The trunk space is also enormous, really a lot of space. If you need more, then you get the Tourer that has even more space. Of course, we have the gesture control with your foot that it opens automatically without needing to press a button on the key or on the car. If you want the frunk in your car, this car doesn't have one from the factory. I have here one from Frunk AT, from Austrian company that does frunks off the market for other cars, and they have one for this. Charging, AC charging with 11 kilowatts, so if you need to charge with AC way faster for whatever reason, you only have public charging in front of your house and you need 22 kilowatt, this car doesn't give you that. And if you charge DC, you have this thing to take out. There's no button to open this, which is a bit sad. I would have wanted that. The charging is pretty good curve. Even from 80 to 100% you get good power. Peak of this car is 192 kilowatt. If you get the Pro S with a bigger battery, is above 200 kilowatt. 10 to 80% is around 25 minutes. But one thing you have to keep in mind when you drive a bit longer and you need to charge, the charging curve is only good when you arrive with a state of charge of around 15% or under. Then you get a really good curve. If you charge, let's say at 25%, you don't get that much power for the charging. By the way, if you want to know what's happening behind the scenes, I have a third YouTube channel, Behind the Battery, where I started vlogging. So where I show over every 2-3 days what's happening, what I'm doing, what I'm filming. If there's something special happening with a car or something, the link is in the description below. Let's get to the interior. You have really a lot of space in here. There's gigantic space. Here is a lot of space. A wireless charging way for your phone. 2 USB-Cs here in the front, 2 USB-Cs in the back, and they have power. They charge your phone really with a lot of power. 2 cup holders, but you can take that out if you want to use it for something else. You can close this if you want, and it looks really neat. When it comes to the window opening, you only have 2 buttons. If you want to adjust the rear ones, you have to press an extra button to do that. That's a bit sad. Light control is here on the left, but you have really good adjustment for the light, especially when it turns on the light. Depending on how dark it is, you have a setting where you can say early, normal or late. So at what darkness level it will turn on the light, which is nice. On the steering wheel we have haptic feedback buttons. A lot of people hate that. I'm okay with it. I don't see the mega positive with it. Yes, you can press it or slide, but the sliding is always, it feels like it's not as much control, except for the cruise control. For the cruise control, When you want to adjust 1 km/h difference in speed, you press light, and 10 you press strong, or you swipe up for 10 more, down for 10 less. But volume, next song and stuff like this, the swiping is not that amazing. But Volkswagen has said that in 2026 new versions of the car will have normal buttons. Also, what is a bit annoying for me is that for the rain sensor I only have 2 sensitivity settings, not a bit more where I can adjust it a bit, and all the indicator and the wiping is on the left, because on the right you have a gear selector. To turn on the car, it's really nice that you don't have to press any button. You just sit in your seat and you press the brake, the car is on. And when you put the gear selector forward, you are in D. If you do it again, you are in B. B means the strongest regen that it has, and D is coasting or automatic regen. You don't have pedal shifters to adjust the regen. Software. This car has still the same software that it had when the car was delivered, 4.0. I got a tiny update for an error message, 4.01 or so, and I know that there's another one that I could get at the dealer, 4.02, for an error that I have with the massage function. But I said no. And what you get with this old software is still the privacy setting that you have to confirm, otherwise you cannot get into your infotainment system. When you have 5.4, the newest software, this goes away after a few seconds, which is amazing. The software overall, I think it's really nice. I have driven a lot of cars. I like the 15-inch screen. I like how it's used. I like that I have my climate underneath, which is already awesome, but I can also adjust 5 buttons down here. Those 2 and those 3 here, I can put other stuff of the climate in here if this is more important. And if you don't have the ventilated seats, you get even more buttons. It's just awesome. And up here, those 5 buttons here, I can also adjust. I do a long press and then I can adjust whatever is up here from the apps that are important. I can get to all the apps here, which is no problem. I can have multiple pages, I think 5 pages, and I can have a different design. I can put different things in here. So on this page, for example, I have 4 things: my map, big, music, my phone, and charging, because if I press this I can get to my battery, which is amazing. And then on the second page I have my driving data, for example, the compass, or my location data with my elevation, and I could have more, but this is the stuff that I need for me personally, and it's really done well. And I can even have favorites up here to turn on and off different things. But what you don't have that is in other cars from the MEB platform would be stuff that I personally like to disable. It's from assist system or drive modes. You don't have a button for drive modes anywhere. You have to put them up here, for example, and I can go in here, change my drive mode. When you start the car, it's always in comfort. If you like individual, you have to do this every time. In individual, I have, for example, my adaptive cruise control in eco, that it adjusts the speed more comfortable. I like that better. And if you, like I said, with the assist system, there's no shortcut anywhere, but you can put the assist system up here, and when I press it and I am in list, I can turn off the things that I don't like, especially the first 2, lane assist and speed limit warning, right away, and it's gone. That's awesome. And in the winter, really amazing, when you navigate to a charger, it will preheat the battery, but you can turn it off, by the way. If you say, I don't want that, you can turn off when you navigate to a charger that it does it. But if the battery is cold, you can also do it manually. If you don't want to navigate to somewhere, you just say, I want the battery warm, you can just press a button. And it tells you in here right now, when you plug in, you can get 75 kilowatt. And if it would be cold, the battery, the good thing about this car is that the battery doesn't have to be warm. Around 23-24 degrees is enough for this battery that it gives you the best charging power. You don't need 40 degrees or something. And if it is cold, it will also tell you when you preheat how long will it take and with what power can you charge then. And I love that. That's amazing. The navigation, I love it a lot. I love the design. I love this here where it tells me everything that is on the route. If there's a traffic jam, if it gets red and stuff like this, I see the time. I can press this and then I see the minutes. I can see the navigation in my head-up display, and it of course shows me with augmented reality that I have to go left or right. The ID light shows me an animation if I have to get off the highway. You really cannot miss it even if you turn off the sound of the navigation system. That's awesome. You can do route planning. So the navigation overall is done really nice. It looks good. Of course, all the different views, everything you need, all the trips you saved, home and work and stuff like this. You can set it that it plans the chargers for you. The problem that it still has, even with the newest software, that it cannot select what charging network that it's using. So usually what I do, I plan the route at home with a better route planner, and I know where to go, and I just navigate to the next charger. I know the chargers by now. That's just easier for me, and because I have chargers that are cheaper for me that I want to use. The only thing about the navigation that's not amazing is that I cannot see the state of charge at arrival. So I would love that when I navigate somewhere that already here or even outside it tells me you will arrive with 20% or something. Even when I press here, I only have a battery symbol and I have to press again, and then it tells me 54%. I find that really horrible. That needs to change. I want it everywhere. It's amazing with Android Automotive cars when they have Google Maps that even when you just search for something, it already tells you with what state of charge you arrive at all the locations you've been before. I love that. That's very, very helpful. Let's get to the best thing about this car, and it is driving. And this is how it should be. It's a car, it drives. The car, even in relation to other Volkswagen ID cars, to the ID.4 or the ID.3, this car is more comfortable, more quiet, and that makes it very, very nice. You have special glass here in the front where the drive is really quiet. Even at 140 on the highway, it's nice and quiet. The suspension is really comfortable, not Rolls-Royce level, but still for the price what it is, really good. Power, not amazing, 210 kilowatt. It's okay if you want a sporty car, this is not your thing. The same for cornering. If you want to drive into corners and have fun and I'm going into corners, this is not the car for that. Not at all. This is more comfortable than it is sporty. Regen is also something I'm not a fan of. You don't have one pedal drive. The regen, when you just step off the accelerator pedal, is not very strong. It doesn't bring you to a standstill. Even the GTX version all-wheel drive, there's no difference in that. Stability. When you drive with this car on the highway, even at 180, which is the top speed, it's not amazing top speed, but okay. I mean, it's very, very stable. You can drive it with one hand. It doesn't follow grooves. You don't have to hold the steering wheel, that it moves around. The steering is amazing, and with the nice suspension, you're just floating even at 180. It's awesome. And what is really incredible in this car is the consumption. Even at higher speeds, 150, 160, consumption is still good. And at 130, it's amazing. This car has very similar consumption to a Tesla Model 3 all-wheel drive dual motor. The rear-wheel drive version of the Model 3 or the standard range are a tiny bit more efficient, but for this size and how the car drives, it's really amazing consumption even at high speeds because of the form of the car. And then on the long distance drive, it's also charges amazing. You get 192 kilowatt, like I said, at 15%, and then you only need to charge to 50-55%, and you can go on to the next charger, and this is done in 10 minutes and you go on. Really awesome. So this car is really a long distance beast. I love it. Of course, if it would have an 800 volt system and charge with nowadays 270, 280 kilowatt, it would be even better, but then the price goes up. Cruise control is also something that's really good in this car. It does it very smooth. Like I said, you can adjust how it's reacting to speed changes. You can adjust it really well. You can adjust the distance. I can do everything on the steering wheel. And the steering assist is also really, really good. On the country road, it's already good. And on the highway, it's just amazing. You have automatic lane change. I said it in my long distance trip, when you are doing the lane change by yourself and you do it a bit faster, it can be a bit uncomfortable because it turns it off, and then when you are on the other lane it turns it on, and then you get a bit of a wobble. That's not amazing. When you do it slowly, it's okay. The negative point that I see in the car is software features. You don't get YouTube, Netflix, you have Spotify in here, but it's not working amazing. So if you are somewhere where the mobile connection, by the way, the data for Spotify Volkswagen is paying for, which is nice, but when you are somewhere where there's not perfect connection, it has its problems. That's a bit annoying. And the app too. You don't have driving data in the app. You cannot do anything special. You see where the car is, but not when it's driving. You can change the charge limit. You can preheat it or cool it, but it all takes a long time. The app is not really amazing. When it comes to communication with the car, you can send your destination and a route and stuff like this. It works, but it's not very, fast. You also don't have a digital key where you can use your phone as a key and stuff like this. The same for user accounts. When I get into the car, I have to select what is the user. It doesn't detect it by the key. Okay, this is you and stuff like this, and adjusts everything. The steering wheel is not electric, so we have to adjust it manually. Adjust the things that you have to consider. Another thing are special functions of the climate. When I get out of the car, I can press a button that says climate on, and for 30 minutes it just keeps the climate the way that it was when you get out of the car. But then afterwards you have to do it with your app, so you cannot set it to 2 hours or something, or dog mode or camp mode and stuff like this. This doesn't exist. And let's get to the price. Yes, the ID.7 costs a bit. It starts in Germany at 53,000 euros, but if you want a bit of stuff, you get easily 60, 63, 65. If you get the panoramic roof that can be see-through or opaque. I think that's the word. It costs alone, I think, 1,500 euros. That's a bit of money, but I think it's worth it. So if you can afford it, or if you leave a few features and get a bit less, the ID.7 is just a different level, like I said, to the ID.3, ID.4. It's just more comfortable and quieter, and it's just nice to drive this car. I think it's worth the money. But what is my opinion of the car after those 25,000 kilometers in 20 months? I love it, because what I wanted in a car was comfort, good consumption and good charging, and it delivers on that. Especially in the summer right now, I get 430 kilometers of range at 130 kilometers an hour. When I drive 140, I can still drive 350 or so. At 150, I can drive 300 kilometers. It's really good, even at high speeds. It's extremely stable. I love a stable car, even at 180 kilometers an hour. Yes, the top speed is not very high, but it feels great. The power is okay. Would be nice to have a bit more. I didn't want the GTX version because the consumption is 7% higher, maybe even more, and I didn't want that. I also didn't want the 20-inch wheels. This one has 19-inch wheels. I'm disappointed with the software, that I still have the starting software 4.0 since December of 2023. I'm okay with the software. There are a few things in there that are annoying that I would like to be improved, but overall I think the infotainment system, how you interact with the car and everything, is good. I like it. Overall, I still see that it's an amazing car, and I test a lot of cars, and so I still see this as a very special car. And there's a reason why in Germany from January to June or May it was the most sold EV in those months. because it's really something special. Good consumption, great charging, good for long distance drive, very comfortable, very stable, a lot of features that make the drive better, massage, seat ventilation, manually preheating the battery and stuff like this. This is just awesome, and a lot of people want the space. For me, the space is not important. If you want to follow me on Instagram, BatteryLife1, and if you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link in the description below, and here on YouTube there's also channel membership. But that's it for me. Thank you much for watching, have a great day and take care. Bye!